James, you can hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. Thank you.
I just realized I had my microphone off.
Okay.
Talking to Jesse. Well, yeah, if you want, if you're going to, you need to hurry because it's half an hour before you start. Jesse, Christy's wanting to get on the road to come over to my office. How does she wants to know if there's anything she needs to do for you before she does that? Um, Jesse? Okay, I don't have Jesse on green room. Just go ahead, you're fine. We'll take care of everything. Let's just call it good. Whose picture's in? No, we're not, because we're not going to use that offer. Those offers are going to be if you stay to the end. Okay, that's fine. Oh, you're talking about on that slide.
Hello.
Hi, Monica. How you doing? Monica, can you hear me?
It's super choppy.
Well, we're going to after we've got everything smoothed out here in a minute, we're going to
Okay.
we're going to be able to take one presenter off, and it should help to have just three of us. Okay, Christy, I'll see you in a little bit. Bye. Okay, so Monica, apparently Tom is having some difficulty getting in. Oh, Monica, what is a typical 1 hour consult value? Monica? Do you have your microphone muted?
Hi. Yeah, sorry. I couldn't hear anything you said. I just heard my name and then it's choppy.
Okay. I was
Can you
asking.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just great now. So
Okay, Monica, Monica, your volume's a little bit on the high side. If you can go down to the lower right-hand corner where it says microphone, bring that down to about maybe 60 or 70%. That way we won't get quite as much reverb from you.
Better?
Keep talking. Just do the ABCs.
Hold on, let me change. I don't know what I'm at on this. Is it better now?
No, just talk for a moment. Talk, Monica. Yeah, just talk. just talk. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Talk. Can you hear me, Monica?
Monica?
Can you hear me? Monica, can you hear me?
Get better? Yeah.
Monica, can you hear Norm right now?
Yes.
Okay, I want you to go through the alphabet. Just keep talking.
Here, hold on. B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K,
okay,
L, M, P.
bring it down just a little bit more, maybe about 10% more. So everyone's microphones is a little bit more sensitive than the others, so try it again. Go ahead and go through the alphabet.
A, B, C, D.
All right, that's good.
E,
Okay.
F, H.
All right, you're good. You're good. Thank you so much. All right, stand by. Keep your microphone on. Keep your vid cam off for right now, and James will be in control of that. James, you're in charge, buddy.
All right, thanks. Norm, I guess we're going to have your account drop off, I suppose, after we get started. Is that what's going to happen?
No, not really. I have to stay logged on because it's in my name, but I'm going to go ahead and turn my microphone off and turn my vid cam is off right now. My microphone will be off, so there should be no bandwidth degeneration.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and so you've already exported your Google Slides into PowerPoint. You good?
No, I haven't. I'm just going to be using Google Slides.
Okay, that's fine. And you know how to do the screen share thing?
I do.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we went through that yesterday.
Excellent, cool. All right, well then I'm just going to stand down for a moment and let you do your thing.
All right, thanks. Okay, Monica, on the 1 hour consult, we're calling it a 1 hour telephone follow-up consultation. Does that sound okay? Monica, have you got your microphone on mute? Monica? Monica, can you unmute your microphone, please? Calling for Monica.
I'm here.
There you are.
Yeah, it rebooted.
Okay. So for the special offer that we're doing, the 1 hour telephone consult follow-up, Monica?
I'm here, but it just keeps getting choppy.
Well, that's kind of scary. Hopefully we'll get that straightened out. But
yeah.
Anyway, the 1 hour consult, what would the value be for that? What would place the value at?
I just put it down as 200.
Okay.
But it would just be a follow-up to any Q&A, especially for their company that they don't want to bring up at, in front of everybody.
I
so any
see
kind of private meeting that they want specifically for them.
I apologize. I was asking you a question that Jesse already got resolved. I'm sorry. I was after something that already got taken care of. So okay, so I'm gonna raise this up a little bit.
Okay, James, I'm on board.
Awesome. Tom, how are you?
Great. Had to reboot once, but no problems, no issues, no stress. Got back in and got a clean slate. My only open window is my Google, and that's it besides this webcam.
Okay. And you sound really good, loud and clear. We're having some difficulty with Monica's audio, it sounds like.
Okay.
Monica, how are you sounding right now?
Sounds actually a lot better. Everything's a lot more clear since Thomas came in.
Maybe I helped you. Thanks, Monica. That'll be $200, Monica.
Right? I'll give you 1 hour.
Great. We can barter maybe half of that. How's that?
Right.
Thanks. Good to hear you.
Okay. We're just doing a couple of last minute things with the slides relating to these offers. So near the beginning, If you stay to the end, there's 3 free gifts: third-party authorization form template, a product listing, Excel product listing template, a free 1-hour follow-up telephone consult.
And who's donating the product spreadsheet matrix? Is that the legal firm?
That's from Keller and Heckman. That they provided it to us for us to provide it to the.
Okay, and that should be, well, I'll just say is that should be the compliance spreadsheet that was downloadable from the FDA website specifically for product listings. I want to make sure that's the one, because if not, I have the one that was downloaded from FDA that has all the characteristics of each line item, both hardware as well as liquids, that is going to be the deliverable that FDA is expecting to receive when they get it either on a spreadsheet and or uploaded onto their website for the electronic transfer. So just make sure that that is the one.
Okay, so
who's your source on that one? Then I just want to make sure.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to do 3 things at once.
Yeah.
I need to concentrate. So, Tom, that situation is, that's a template that we got from Keller and Heckman back in December. So it
They've
may not be
updated
the
it
most
since
up to
then.
date. Keller and Heckman has.
No. The FDA has updated that form.
Oh,
so
all right.
Yeah, if Thomas has got it, it's the same exact form. So before you just hand it out, just make sure that, I guess if Thomas is going to give it to you, because they've updated it to make it a lot more simpler,
a lot more user friendly and predefined fields. So I have the version from May. So if Heckman had a December one, that certainly may have been superseded by the May one. So just keep in mind that whoever's going to request it, that might want to check what version it is. And if I have the latest version, we'll use that one.
Okay, I'm sending Jesse a note. And is that something you can download anyway, just from the FDA website?
Yes, it is downloadable from the FDA website.
Okay, well then we'll give them a free link to that. How's that?
I say still keep it as an incentive, and we'll use the one that I have available. Knowing that it's the latest one. So it's still something that I think can be a tangible giveaway as opposed to them going to get it. So it makes it easier for them and still incentive for them, right?
Right. Okay. So if they stay to the end, they'll get 3 free gifts: a third-party authorization form template, a product listing template, and a free follow-up telephone consult. And I'm just going to leave it from one of our 2 special guests, and I'll just leave it at that for now.
Very good.
And then in addition, we're going to be talking about a Vibe membership offer worth over $1,000. It may be over, it might be exactly. Let me see. Oh yeah, it's $1,250. All the stuff we're doing. Oh, wait. I see what it's saying. Okay, so I'm Xing out of the chat from there. Okay, Tom, send me the form template and the Excel sheet, and I'll prepare the download links. So, did you see that, Tom?
Say that again, James.
Jesse said, Tom, send me the template and the Excel sheet, and I'll prepare the download links.
Oh, download links. Okay, I have the, okay. Does it have to be right now?
Well, he's trying to prepare the link so he can give it at the end of the deal.
What a demanding guy.
I know.
I do have the spreadsheet. The third-party authorization is a template that I have in my statement of work. It's not pre-formatted in a letter format, but it can be and has my disposed party name, my title, my email, and my phone number. So that might not work for for Monica's purposes, but the template is certainly
they can use
available.
The same wording.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Q&A should be the last thing we do. So let's see. All right, got that fixed.
Okay.
We're still rearranging our slides. So I have 13 slides, of which I'm going to fly through 7 of them and then turn it over to you two.
Okay.
And then at the end, we're going to do the other 6 slides, which is a little bit of information about Vibe and the special offer. The next webinar, which is webinar number 6, Deeming Regulations 1 year later, what the smart companies are doing now in light of the recent change in FDA weather.
Okay.
You guys want to participate in that one?
Next Tuesday. And what time would that be? Again, same time, 5 p.m. Pacific?
Yeah, that's right. That's going to be... That's going to be on the anniversary of the deeming regulations, so that's kind of why we wanted to pick that date.
Sure.
I cannot. That is my son's birthday.
Oh, boy. Okay.
But I will always remember it.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, 4 p.m. I have time. I have time. Okay, so you can pencil me in for that. We'll confirm.
We might be able to get Cynthia to fill in for you, Monica, on that one. And
okay.
Oh, she has some big shoes to fill.
She sure does. Just so you know, Jesse, Jesse's not really technically, as far as industry technical, and I don't consider myself to be either. I'm just sort of a little farther down the continuum. But he was, first of all, I sent him the material from Monica about what you do, Monica, and he responded, "Oh my gosh, she's an amazing asset. We've got to get her nailed down." And then yesterday, while he was listening to your presentation, Tom, he said, "What did he say?" He sent me a text and said, "I'll just find it." Tom is an effing boss. That was his reaction to listening to your slide presentation.
Yeah, and I was hot to trot yesterday because I had 2 presentations live and face to face with these millennials from Google this morning, and man, they were like deers with their headlights on them, right? Yeah. And just that interaction is what I really thrive on. And so even if we have an inanimate audience here, knowing that you guys are supporting me is really an effort that I can appreciate.
Well, you guys are both just incredibly valuable assets to the industry and to Vibe, and I can't wait to make the time here in the next week or so, hopefully, to finally get those arrangements nailed down for the memorandums, so we can move forward from there.
I just want to give you guys a heads up. I'm going to step away from the computer for 5 minutes and get some water so that I don't have to get that beforehand.
Thanks for telling us so we didn't panic when we tried to ask you a question.
Where'd she go?
I got my Gatorade. I'm ready.
All right, I'll be back.
Okay, so James.
Yes.
Just a question. So microphones for Monica and you will be on at the same time, because yesterday I went through the dry run and just guys let me do my spiel. That was great. I was able to ram through it in the time that was allotted, about 30 minutes. But understanding there'll be some interaction and some interjection. I appreciate that because it gives me a break to maybe take a swig of my Gatorade and Monica to chime in on some of those more relevant aspects that she can lend her expertise to, right? But that's the thing. I mean, we're not going to switch screens, but we will have microphones on, right?
Right. Yeah,
okay,
microphones
good.
will be on.
So, Tom, if I can interject, this is Norm. How are you, sir?
Oh, hello, Norm. I'm doing fine, sir.
Good. I'm basically a fly on the wall. We're trying to keep the bandwidth down. So because the account was in my name, I'm not going to be active per se. But keep your microphone off unless you're actually saying something. That way we won't be picking up any random background noise.
Yeah, that's right. And I appreciate that. I know you guys went through some technical difficulties your first go around on these. So you guys have really refined the process of how you host these webinars. I can appreciate it. And I was just asking because I think one of the strategies we had, Norm, was to make sure that Monica, even though she's not going to be presenting in relation to the slide set that I have produced, she does have some salient points that she wants to chime in on from time to time.
Excellent. Well, again, so if she knows she wants to say something, then she just, what's nice is that you can turn the microphone off and on with that one little button at the top of the screen, and it's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm going to basically keep my microphone off the entire time unless there's something that I need to add, which is probably not very likely, and I'm just going to be a fly on the wall until everything is done.
Norm, you're great. I love your website and Vape Mentors and all you guys do.
You're very kind, sir. Look forward to meeting you at some point.
Yes, definitely. Thanks.
I'm back.
All right, super. So anyway, I'm excited about this. This is going to be a really good group. I don't know what the final number was, but as I mentioned, I think to both of you, the last I heard it was 51. That is a really nice number. I don't know, what sort of numbers you all have been able to attain for these webinars, but that's an indicator that we're building a little bit of momentum, and I'm sure that it has a little bit to do with who our special guests are. And I'm sure that the topic is obviously on point for what people are interested in seeing, and that's probably a big part of why we're getting a good number also.
Mm-hmm.
James, just so you know, we have 54 registered, and so that's the highest number we had so far. So that's a great job. Congratulations, all of you.
Yeah.
All right.
So, I keep saying this after each webinar, but it relates to this too. But I mean, you always find all kinds of things that you could have done better or do differently, or you think back on it. The postmortem always isn't very pretty, but every time I just think how much better we could be. I mean, we did this kind of seat of the pants, and if we just put a little more preparation into this, just think how much better it's going to be. And I think tonight's going to be an example of that, because Tom, I think you're going to knock it out of the park. Monica, I think it's important, and I'm not too worried about this, but I think it's really important that that we get your input. Try not to leave Tom on his own. Tom was saying earlier that interjecting material will help him have a chance to take a drink of his Gatorade. So
yeah,
he's looking forward to us jumping in there from time to time.
Yeah, that won't be a problem. But I'll definitely just give him some breathers here and there.
Yeah, that's good. Norm did say that if you don't use your microphone at the time that we're listening in, just to go ahead and toggle on and off the switch on your screen for that microphone on and off.
Yeah, that's probably
so what I'd like to do, guys, is let's go ahead and finish up our pre-chatter, so to speak, because we've got people that are going to be coming on now. I'm going to kind of take over right now as the moderator because it is recording. And what we'll do is we'll plan on starting about 5 minutes after the hour, and I'm going to try to at least get people engaged by asking them where they're from and so forth and so on. So we'll just watch the numbers as they come in. But the plan is to probably start at a few minutes after the hour. So unless there's anything specific to say, just go ahead and turn your microphones off and just stand by.
Great. Thank you much.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our webinar tonight. I just thought I would do a sound check here, and I see some people that were responding to my ask in the chat room, and we thank you so much for that. Tonight, it's all about FDA's required filings for juice companies, and even though everyone has their own opinions and reactions to what happened almost a week ago, last Friday morning, some people say it's the best news in the world. Some people say it's not exactly the best thing out there, and a lot of people are just not sure. And the answer is no one quite has all the answers yet. So we're not going to be going into a lot of the nuances of exactly what happened, but we are going to be going into the things that are not affected, which means some of the deadlines that were not changed and will be effective, including some that are coming up right around the corner. So I'm going to just go ahead and ask that you make sure that you just give us a thumbs up. Let us know that you hear okay. We have probably the largest crowd that we've had so far with our Vibe webinars, and this is webinar number 5. And what's been nice is that, like everything else, it takes a while to build up momentum. But if you would be so kind, just let us know where you are. And those of you who've already typed that in, we thank you so much for that. And for those of you who have not responded, we would love for you to do the same. Just let us know, what state you're in or what city you're in. And it's going to be an active participation. We are going to leave questions and answers time at the end. Okay, so far we have New Jersey, we have Georgia, we have Oregon, we have Arizona, we have Ohio, we have Texas. Okay, so we have none. We have no, we got Benton from Philadelphia, my old hometown. We've already talked about that. Welcome again, Benton. Looks like you're a regular, and we thank you so much for that. And we got New York. We got Long Island. So thank you so much. Again, I want to be respectful of all of you that are here on time, but we also understand that some people do run a little bit late. And we're going to go ahead and just give them just a minute or two, but we're not going to, we're not going to give them too long. And also, I'm going to give you an encouragement to stick around till the end, because James is going to be running the show tonight. I'm really going to be a fly on the wall. We actually have 4 people that are participating. So in the interest of conserving bandwidth and giving you the best possible audio and video, we're going ahead and I'm going to basically not have my microphone or my video on, which is going to be the case. And so we want to make sure that you get the best possible reception. So for those of you who are coming on still, if you just go ahead and say hello and tell us where you are, what city and what state, that would be awesome. And as I started to say, we are giving you a special incentive to stick around because James earlier today said, what kind of special offer can we make people for sticking around and participating in the Vibe offer and what have you? So he reached out to a lot of our resource partners, including me, and James is going to be sharing a little bit more about what those offers look like. And so some might call it bribery, and you're probably right, but that's okay, because sometimes we need to be encouraged to bring, to do the right thing. So just thank you so much for joining us on our Vibe webinar. Again, this is webinar number 5. We did 2 the first week, we did 2 the second week, and then we did 1 on Tuesday, of course. And now we're kind of we had an agenda that took us into August, and then we wanted to kind of stop and get some feedback and some opinions from people, which we've gotten great feedback from you, the folks that are members or potential members, but we've also gotten great feedback from our board of advisors, which has been extraordinary, because people go to them and they say, tell us about this Vibe organization. What are they all about? And so obviously they are having to explain things. And so they are getting questions that are very insightful, which are giving us ideas of things that we need to do. And so what we're finding is that there's a couple of things that just need to be tweaked and fine-tuned just a little bit on the website, which we're going to be doing that over the weeks to come. And so, just want to make sure that you know that we are very reactive and we are very attentive to you, all of you who are on right now. So if you have any questions, if you have any suggestions, that is exactly what we are here for. And again, it looks like Jesse is behind the scenes, even though he's masquerading under my name, and he's up in Dublin, California, which is up near the Bay Area. So he's my tech guru. He's my millennial that keeps me on track and does those things and helps me do those things that I'm not capable of doing. So again, just stand by. We're going to be starting in just a few moments, and we want to make sure that we give everyone adequate time. So if you have any questions beforehand, you are welcome to put them into the chat room. There's a very good chance, if If it's a specific question about deadlines and agendas, we will probably address it. But if it's something that we weren't planning on addressing, at least we will know the questions that you have. So as Jesse said, close everything you don't need to have open. Close your Google Mail, close your Outlook program, close your Word document, close anything and everything that doesn't have to be open. And really the only thing that has to be open is one browser, which is giving you this particular presentation. So that would be a very, very big help for all of us here. And I'm going to do the same thing because I usually keep my Google Drive and my Google Calendar open. So I'm going to go ahead and close them as well because they can be energy suckers too. So just stand by. We're going to be back with you in just one moment. Okay, back at you. Good, good. We got more people coming online, and thank you so much. If you would, those of you who are brand new, if you just recently logged on, like in the last few minutes, and if you haven't heard me before, we welcome you to our presentation with Vibe. And tonight is going to be all about FDA's requirement filings, because again, there's a lot of mixed feelings, a lot of mixed emotions. And you got some people who are saying that this is great, and there's also some devil in the details here, because a lot of things were not addressed, and those are some of the things that we're going to be covering tonight. And we have a really awesome panel. James was very lucky to engage some special friends that he has, some people who are very well known and very well respected in the vaping industry, primarily in the liquid industry. So again, this is your chance to get to the people that you normally can't get to. You know, a lot of this information is available, but you have to comb through some things. You have to read it. You have to interpret it. But tonight, you don't have to do all those things. You just need to listen. And we ask that you close all of your other browsers, keep your cell phone off, you know, put it on mute or on vibrate, or, you know, try not to pick up the phone if you would, because it would be great if you just kind of kept your attention. So it's now 5:05 on my calendar, so I'm going to go ahead and let James take over. So James, I'm going to go ahead and mute my microphone, and for all intent and purposes, sir, the show is yours.
Thank you, Norm, and welcome everyone. I'm hailing from the Kansas City area, and we've got some special guests that are joining us tonight. I'll be introducing them here in just a little bit. And you see their faces there. I'm going to go ahead and set up the screen share, and we're going to get started. Series. In this case, the last minute tips for registration and product listing. We're very happy to have you all here joining us. As Norm has already said, please turn off all distractions and other programs, anything that might distract you. But please don't forget to like us and rate us later on when you get an opportunity to do that. We're always looking for those accolades. If you stay to the end of this, which we should be able to keep this under an hour, we have 3 free gifts for you. There's a third-party authorization form template for those of you who wish to employ a third party to conduct or get the work done for you. There's a product listing template that we can provide you that is going to be a nice little thing to make it easier for you to do your product listing material before uploading it. And then also we're going to be able to give you some free follow-up telephone consultation one-on-one from our special guests. We'll tell you about that in a little bit. And then finally, we're also going to give you just an amazing Vibe membership offer that's going to be worth over $1,000 with a suite of professional services that are going to be available to you if you join the Vape Industry Business Exchange. Well, why would you want to do that? Well, what is the Vape Industry Business Exchange? It's a trade association buyers group. We provide support services to the everyone in the supply chain, from retailers all the way back to manufacturers. We're harnessing the buying power of everyone. We're allowing juice brands to work with committed and pre-screened retailers. And when we say juice brands, we're referring to all manufacturers, including hardware, really. That's just sort of limited to that one area. So who started Vibe? Well, there's me. I'm an industry veteran. I've been in this industry for almost 4 years now. Spent 3 years as the national sales manager for a large e-liquid manufacturing firm. Spent a significant amount of that time, about 18 months, on the road, actually calling on vape shops one-on-one, and that was an eye-opening experience for me. The next 18 months was mostly telephone work, but also just as fascinating. When I came up with the idea of Vibe, I knew that I needed to bring in some industry experts to make this come to fruition. First person I thought of was one of the most respected people in the industry, Norm Bauer, founder of Vape Mentors. And the two of us together approached Content Dynamics Media, which is an entrepreneurial brain trust that is in the digital marketing area. And you'll hear a little bit about them here in a little bit too. We also wanted to bring in the support of others. Now, these are not paid advisory board members. These are just people that have a ton of industry knowledge, who also understand and share our passion for the industry. We have Cynthia with Safada, or former executive director of Safada, Azim Chowdhury with Keller and Heckman, Austin Hopper, extremely well known, has launched many brands. Rick Soltero with Instant GMP, an amazing company that I hope I get an opportunity to tell some of you about at some point in the future, those of you who need to know about it. And then also Nicole Erskine, who is our retailer on the advisory board, who keeps us grounded with what the needs and the interests and thoughts of retailers are. Then there's Vibe Resource Partners, and that includes Vape Mentors, Keller and Heckman, pharma-level e-liquid manufacturers that we have strategic partners with. And then there's also compliance professionals like Northguide Solutions and Regulatory Compliance. And there's the lovely visages of the two special guests, Monica and Tom, who will be joining us this evening, examples of Vibe Resource Partners. Now, the idea behind Vibe is that there's a lot of power that comes through collaboration, not competition. We want to be able to work together, and there's a lot of different ways that as a group we can do more than we can individually. Now, to become a Vibe certified partner, and you know what, I just realized I want to back up, and before we get much further, I just realized that on this page I needed to just turn this over to our people that we have as special guests. So let me introduce them. Let me start with Monica. Monica is a regulatory and GMP consultant for the e-liquid sector. She specializes in helping e-liquid companies build quality programs and consult on upcoming regulations. Monica creates detangles and step-by-step guide to becoming a GMP compliant facility, as well as SDS creation and business consultation. Her background consists of over-the-counter drug and nutraceutical quality system manufacturing. Then we have somebody that's sort of the juxtaposition from that. Tom is with Regulatory Compliance Experts. It's an alliance of subject matter experts in the newly regulated industry of e-cigarette and vapor products, leveraging regulatory affairs professionals with experience in establishment, registration, product listing, ingredient listing, and pre-market tobacco applications to the Center for Tobacco Products under the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. So Tom's background has to do primarily with medical devices. So his expertise is going to come in very handy for hardware manufacturers in particular. They both work with both types of manufacturers, but they kind of have those specialties. So with that being said, I want to turn this over to Tom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to exit, and I am going to switch over to be able to take over screen sharing, and we'll get started. Tom, are you with us?
Thank you very much, James. Yes, I am with you, and I'll go ahead and switch the screen over to our presentation for tonight. Just one moment, folks. How's the video looking? Is it up there?
Looks good.
Okay. Well, that's great. I appreciate both Norm and James. Really subject matter experts in your own right, both in the field, in the industry, and in particular with your experience that you bring to this table. I am honored to be here tonight and want to give you really some tools for this audience to work with regards to, of course, our subject matter tonight, which is establishment, registration, and product listing. We'll look at this in a 10,000-foot view, folks. This is not to get into too much details regarding deeming regulations and all that. What we want to do is perhaps take a look at the first steps in regards to how we are going to become compliant. Okay, so the session, of course, is sponsored by regulatory compliance experts here, as well as in cooperation with, of course, Monica with North Guide Solutions, and James, as well as Norm. Thank you, guys. Okay, so our agenda tonight will be, number one, the compliance timelines and steps. We'll digest that in regards to the big life cycle that we have moving toward full compliance. Of course, the first step we'll be looking at is establishment registration and product listing, and the mechanisms and tools we'll examine and how we're going to do that in this seminar tonight. There's an aspect of follow-up for established registration and product listing, and that's for annual reporting, and we'll look at that in detail. Next steps, folks, we all want to look toward full compliance sometime down the road with all the requirements from FDA and the deeming regulations. And we'll look at some forward-looking statements and what that might look like, as many of you might know what those requirements are. We'll just recap those for those who may not be familiar or just coming on board and looking at how they can become compliant. And as James said, there's third-party agent authorization that we'll look at as an option for you as manufacturers and retailers to submit this information to FDA. And the crux of what we are doing here today is these last minute tips, folks. Of course, we're moving toward the first deadline. We'll look at that deadline at the end of September for the establishment registration and product listings. And these last minute tips are going to be so valuable for everybody to employ in their own strategies of staying in business. So just a little more on the presenter's background. I'm an independent consultant with my LLC, the Regulatory Compliance Experts. I'm located in the San Francisco Bay Area here in California. My background, as James said, is related mostly in my experience in Silicon Valley, working with medical device companies, lasers. I've worked with ophthalmic lasers, as well as with other biotech firms, both for Abbott Vascular, Abbott Labs, and a few other tech giants here in the Valley, and bring some expertise in way of some of the nuts and bolts of regulatory affairs, or RA operations. That means basically some of the things we're going to be discussing today, like establishment registration and device listing, as it may be. We're using the same paradigm here with the new deeming regulations for, of course, the product listings that's going to be required as part of our establishment registration. Also have experts on board who are my colleagues who are versed and are experts, SMEs, subject matter experts in advertising and labeling. And they bring a lot to the table in way of some of the labeling requirements that FDA is going to have for our industry as well. Submissions as well, and that's the operations piece. We have about a group of 5 part-time consultants that we bring to the table, and we're really glad to be part of this space as well. Monica, this is your introduction. You want to go ahead and chime in here and then maybe give us a little more of your background?
Definitely. Yeah, my name is Monica Schick. I'm from North Guide Solutions. I operate out here in Rancho Cucamonga. It's a long name. My background is mostly from GMP manufacturing. I actually came into this space about 2 years ago to create quality systems for an up-and-coming vape company that is actually doing quite well right now. So my background is mostly an over-the-counter drug and nutraceuticals. So I have made all kinds of different products, and I've done regulations within that vector as well. Most of my clientele is small business based, and I do specialize in e-liquids and manufacturing in that portion. So that's a little background on me. I'll take it back to Tom. I'll be chiming in here from time to time to kind of piggyback on whatever Tom is saying as well. So you'll hear my voice occasionally.
Very good, Monica. I really appreciate your interjection. Your expertise that you bring to the table on the GMP side is going to be so valuable for this audience to hear. And I, in fact, can also benefit from that as well. Thank you for being with us today.
No problem.
All right, so we move on. Listen, folks, we have first steps instead of next steps and all the future, right? We got to do something immediately here. This is a poster of FDA rules for ends product sales, right? And the reason I put this up first is because this is mandatory for your folks who are sitting on the counter at that point of sale who need to know what to do when they are starting to be in compliance, right? So, of course, you take a look at the second bullet. It says sell ends only to customers 18 years and older. And for your states that have that age limit, that's great. You know, it's 18. For people like us here in California, Monica and I, they upped the age from 18 to 21 just recently. So over the counter sales, of course, need to be screened out for these age groups, right? But the top one says you can tap to check these photo IDs for anyone who you look who looks under 21, right? You kind of profile them out. They look pretty young. They might pass, but you know what? We're just double checking and you're making sure that they meet the age requirement for your sales, right? The third one is you're not supposed to give free samples away. You don't give components and or parts. And of course, everybody remembers 2 years ago when you can walk into the vape shop, man, and try out that liquid that you wanted to buy, right? It was on the shelf. No more. So you can't give away any samples of ends, including e-liquids, any components and or parts. The last one that says you can't sell e-cigarettes in a vending machine unless it's an adult-only facility. Okay, so it's an adult-only facility, so you can't sell them in the mall where children have access to these vending machines or these systems, and they can't be buying them without, of course, meeting the age requirements. This is key. If you guys need a poster or one of the 8.5 by 11s from us, we do have copies available from our batches here. I just want to say that these should be part of what you have on your counters. It goes a long way for FDA to walk into your business and see something like this sitting on your countertops, right? And it really lends to the credence and really lends to your due diligence really on you becoming compliant. And if they see that, man, you know what? I think it'd be all the more that they would, see you as a legitimate business person who really wants to work toward becoming fully compliant. It's a good and it's an easy way to really start that discussion with regulatory authorities to have this poster on your countertops. So that's your first step. That's effective immediately. You don't have to wait for anything, any deadlines. Have this poster available and ready for your counterpersons to refer to when they have customers. Okay, so let's look at some of the questions related to the compliance piece. When do I need to comply with these FDA new tobacco regulations? Now, Norm as well as James, they hosted a great seminar on webinar on Tuesday with the host Tonya Budd, who gave a recap of what the change in the dynamics were for, of course, the deeming regulations and some of the deadlines that were extended, in particular for the PMTA. What we're looking at today is specifically for the establishment, registration, and product listing. This is one of the first steps. So when I ask you, when do I need to comply, the next slide is kind of going to step this through on what stages we're going to look at as far as compliance steps, okay? So the first steps to stage one, we're going to look at registration and product listing. And this includes, folks, the labeling that you have for your e-liquids, this labeling that you have advertising in the magazines, labeling that you may have had on your convention floors, any labeling that's customer facing, right? You have a customer that sees it behind your counter. You have a customer who sees it on your bottles, on your hardware. These are any labeling is going to be under this particular compliance stage. And that's going to all be due in September, as it says, September 2017. It includes promotional advertising as well. Stage 2, we won't spend too much on these because these are the other steps of compliance, but they have been in for another webinar, I'm sure, in the future for ingredient listings that's due next May 8th, 2018. That includes small manufacturers. Those manufacturers have less than 150 staff and less than $5 million in revenue qualify as small manufacturers and are able to meet that deliverable for FDA's expectations on your ingredient listing. That's another story, another webinar, but I just want to kind of depict the stage here of full compliance, right? So this is the PMTA that we all spoke about and all know about from the announcements from the Commissioner of FDA last Friday and how it impacts us. Well, guess what, folks? They pushed out the date from from November of next year, 2018, to August 8th of 2022, in effect, giving us 4 more years to look at how we can become fully compliant. The only commentary that I'm going to have on this, folks, based on my experience and background with medical devices and working with high-risk devices and fully vetted submission work and the operations it takes to put those pieces together, it's a lot. And it's an arduous piece of to handle. If you don't have regulatory people who are on your resourcing, this is where you kind of really need to put that together. Think it through, and kind of cast some vision down the line on how you're going to dedicate those resources for regulatory expertise to do this. But it's down the line, of course. But my saying, and I shared it with James the other day, the sooner you prepare, the better your submission will be. And I'll just say that on the end at the review cycle for the FDA, they have requirements for acceptability requirements. So you don't meet those minimum requirements for your PMTA in 2022 and you just got it in, you're not going to be ready to get approved. They're going to reject it out of hand, and there's a lot more work that you're going to have to do. Pre-preparation is everything, folks, okay? That's all I have to say about stage 3 in the PMTA. Stage 4 is the annual reporting that we want to follow up as part of registration renewal and the product changes from your inventory. All right, so this is just kind of the top level of the registration. We'll just concentrate on the first and 4 lines, registration and product listing. And we'll look at who, what, when, and how. And for our annual reporting, we'll look at the aspects of registration renewal and product changes. As I said, the other 2 line items for ingredient listing and pre-market tobacco applications will be as a subject matter for a different webinar, I'm sure. Okay, let's look at this first one. This is the crux and the core content of this presentation for established registration, who, what, when, and how, due in September of this year. And so we want to look at some of those basic tenets on who should make established registration and product listing submissions. And I'm not saying this off the top of my head. I'm not trying to memorize this. These tenets are taken directly from the FDA guidance document. Guidance document is all the content that I'm reproducing here for your benefit, for your edification. Take it verbatim, folks. This is what it says, and this is what we should do about it, okay, to become fully compliant. So who should? Every person who owns or operates any domestic establishment engaged in manufacturing regulated tobaccos must register. And this doesn't include just our vape space, folks. They had for hookahs. They had under the deeming regulations for cigars as well. So they had other entities that were required to do this same thing. But this is for us, established registration, every person who owns and operates a domestic establishment. And if you have a third-party agent, as we've mentioned, you can employ a third-party agent to submit your product listings and information on your behalf.
Let me intercede real quick on the domestic part.
Very good. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
This is domestic manufacturing. So if you are an importer and you're importing from another country, you are not considered a domestic establishment. So this is for people that are physically doing the manufacturing. If you're just receiving product in from another country, then you are not considered a domestic manufacturer. Just wanted to chime in on that right there.
That's a very good distinction, domestic establishment versus a foreign establishment as it's defined in the guidance document. Very good point. Thanks, Monica. Mm-hmm. And so the next question is, what is what information is required for the registration? What do we include in there, right? Basic information, name, address of your establishment that you're engaged for manufacturing. If it's a partnership, name of each partner or corporation, the name of each officer. There's a DUN number, of course, a data universal numbering system, and any other unique identifier codes that will identify your establishment. And what is going to be included in this registration is also the second half of this, which is the product listing and product labeling. So it's not just the basic information for your establishment, right? Who you are, where you are, what your corporation is made of, and your contact information, basic information. The second part of this, and I think the more major part of this undertaking for establishment registration, is the product listing and product labeling. So let's take a look at product listing first and what that will include, right? The listing for each product, right, is going to include the name of your product. You're going to have some SKU numbers or some identification numbers, right, that go along with either your hardware and or your software in your inventory. And then you have the types of identification it is. And that's where you have your SKU number, your UPC number, SKU number, item or catalog number, however you decide how you're going to identify your product, your intended use. So this is where you're going to check whether it's consumer, if you're selling it right directly to your consumer, or if you're reselling it to another manufacturer for further manufacturing. This is the two options you have for the intended use. Consumer product category. This is where under the deeming regulations, it didn't only include ends products or e-liquids, but it also had cigars, cigar components, pipe tobacco, water, pipe tobacco, much like the hookahs and the water pipe tobacco component or part. So this establishment registration listing was for all the types of industries. Okay, let's look at product labeling as the other aspect of this filing for establishment registration and product listing. Product labeling, as I mentioned earlier, is really important. And your product labels will also include all the labels that you have for your product, either the hardware or software. You sell with vape pens, you sell mods, you have any instructions for use for the user. This is where that labeling is submitted as part of the registration and product listing.
Real quick, for the labeling, make sure you're not taking photos. Take the actual hard print. Don't use photography to send to the FDA. They want to see the your IE files. Make sure that they're within a certain format, because the PDF sometimes won't fit. So stay away from photography. Make sure it's the actual file itself.
Yeah, the JPEGs, right? So you're getting the actual labeling in a full color copy. They want it to be as legible as possible, so you're not masking any caution statements that you might have on your labeling. Just want to make sure that they can read it, first of all, and they can assess it and they can evaluate it following their internal review at FDA. Representative sampling of advertisement, folks. So we have something, of course, that's been advertised in the magazine, something on your convention floor, something on your storefront. It's just representative. You have a liquid flavor, watermelon, strawberry, but it's not necessary that you have to submit, your label for 3 milligrams, 6 milligrams, 12, 18, and 24. It's not what it's saying. What it's saying is just a copy of the label of your either the e-liquid and or your hardware that's representative of your portfolio, of your line of offerings, either e-liquids and or your hardware. Representative sampling, folks. That's the key word here. Copy of all consumer information. This is that forward customer facing information that's shared with them as well. Anything you've done with advertising and magazines, anything, as I said, on the convention floor that customers would come in and just see. So that's consumer information. You find it in any of your devices here. You have a product information brochure for some of the devices that you might have, a glucose monitor perhaps. And that type of labeling is the information that is defined as customer information. Okay, we give a go here because when to submit the information is really what we want to try to push, because the deadline is coming up so quickly. We're having this seminar to advocate that we're trying very hard as an industry to help you become compliant, right? So the when is really going to be important. This first bullet says immediately register your new establishment that begins manufacturing products. So this was a stipulation they had in the guidance document that was added there. That was after the August 8th, 2016 date that was incorporating the laws And they wanted to make sure that anybody who was done after that had immediately registered. But I think what's important here is for us as an audience, for us who are going forward on our first step of compliance, of course, need to be cognizant of this September 30th date. Less than 60 days, folks, by my count, that we have to do this. And I think we'll look at that and how we can expedite this, right? How to submit the information. Well, there's a form. There's two forms. If you look it up on the FDA website, it's Form 3741, which is the establishment registration, the front end of this registration package, and 3741A, which is the product listing. It'll have multiple copies where you can use for all your products, and or what we've offered today is a spreadsheet that is in compliance for your FDA listings, product listings, that is downloadable and in compliance with their spreadsheet reviewers at the FDA. So that's the second part of it. And I think it's a great incentive for everyone here who is going to be moving forward as a stay in business incentive, right? This is just a copy of the form. There's an option here, folks. Electronic Federal United Registration something system, right? So there's an electronic submission system that's available for you to do this online. It helps to streamline the review process, but it's also convenient. Well, as convenient, I'll just say that because I've understood from some of my clients, they had a difficult time in trying to upload this information. So it is as an option, but there's also, of course, this hard copy form that we can also ask you to mail in if you have issues with the electronic upload onto the FDA website. But there is that option. It's really convenient, not only for you, but also for FDA when they do their review. Okay, so that's it for the establishment registration and the product listing. We looked at the product labeling, right? And we looked at other aspects of advertising. But there's once you get that compliance, first step of compliance in September, there's going to be a periodic reporting. So they know who you are, they know where you are, they know what inventory you're carrying, and as with all regulated industries, you have to renew. This is the way where their way of course, charging you a registration fee, of course. And I think it's nominal. I don't know what the exactly is amount as of today, but it's a way for them to kind of renew that registration with your establishments. But it also gives you an opportunity to report product changes. So any inventory moved, right? You move some e-liquids that are not selling, you took them off your shelf, you don't carry them any longer. You can indicate in your product change updates that you are no longer carrying this particular e-liquid inventory. Hey, and these vape pens were not really big sellers. I mean, everybody's moving to mods. Maybe you didn't sell these in there, but you got other mods that came in. You got other flavors that are in larger bottles that came in. That's the opportunity where you can report your product changes on a biannual basis. And that's establishment registration is to be renewed every December 31st. But I'll just say this, this date was set when they first had this establishment registration as part of the effective dates from last year's deeming regulation. So get this, we did it last August 2016. They said, okay, now you have to resubmit or you have to renew your establishment registration every December 35th. That was a window of about 5 months, right? Now we're meeting these deadlines of September 30th of this year, 2017. I do not think, and this is my take, just kind of predicting some of the works that's been going on related to some of these deadlines being extended. I don't think that December 31st this year is going to be expected for those who have met the September deadline to again renew in December. That 3-month window is just a bit short. You're not getting your money's worth, right? This might be an opportunity, I think, for legislative advocacy groups to kind of push these out, saying this is kind of onerous for some of our industry who just paid, and just did all this work for the establishment registration, now have to pay again or have to pay for a renewal in December, just 3 months later. And I'm going to predict that this date is going to be moved out somewhat. When that is, I just don't know what it is, but I do think it is going to be. Okay, so changes to your, as I mentioned, to your product listing can be submitted biannually, either during June or December. But expect that if you have changes to your products and you are able to report them in due time, June and December are your periodic reporting periods each year. Okay, so what's the next steps for this audience, right? We have a lot of people here who may just be broaching this subject of FDA regulations. Just be understanding, wow, what do I need to do, right? Establish registration. Wow, that's great. That doesn't sound so hard. How about these product listings? Well, I can do that. I got an inventory listing already that I can just download onto this spreadsheet that they have, and I can work on computers and upload it to the FDA. That's great. That is part of what we're trying to move this industry to, right? Understanding the regulations, right? The guidance documents just for this first step and how it impacts your business. What do you need to do to provide the resources, right, to do this? And what business decisions do you have to make? Then how does it impact what decisions you have to make this happen and become in compliance? Those are decisions you as business people need to make. But I think the first thing you need to do is kind of understand the regulations. One of the tips we're going to have for you is in fact understanding what those regulations are in totality, not just piecemeal, but really the overall picture. Can you provide the information required for submission to FDA? Okay, just think about it. All that I've said, I mean, basic information is fine. We have all the basic information, but how about that product listing? And how about some of that advertisement that you had out there, since last year of 2016? Where is that? How can I get a hold of it? I can't take a picture of it, as Monica said, right? I need the JPEGs for that. I need to pull all that back in, and I need to kind of coalesce all this information back together and making sure I have a succinct and a concise submission for the FDA on September 30th. Another question, do we need to meet with FDA? I mean, they have a guidance document that says, okay, you know what? We understand these are new regulations, right? And we understand not everybody's going to understand them. Do we need to meet? Do we need to have groups to advocate that can kind of coalesce all the inputs from the manufacturers, from the retailers in this tobacco space who have questions on how, when, and who, where, and put that together and meet with the FDA either face-to-face on a legislative platform, legislative level, or even if you want to do it as an individual, a teleconference call to your representative, or maybe a conduit through a webinar such as ours that we can use as a platform to lobby our legislative representatives and the FDA on this new regulations and the paradigm to meet full compliance. So there are options, as I'm suggesting, on meeting with the FDA. And the last one I want to do once again is, how can a third-party agent help you comply? That is one of the options, as we saw earlier, right? We have a third-party authorization template here that is part of this incentives for you to be here today. And it's just a way for us to kind of understand if you need those regulatory expertise for someone to help you, guide you through this first step, at least for established registration. There are options available for you as a business owner, as a retailer manufacturer, to assign authorization to a third-party agent. And this is a template that we'll be using and be offering as an incentive for participating in this webinar. So last-minute tips. What can I say? James has a lot of what he's already added to advocacy, education. I mean, just expertise that we're lending to this audience today, folks. I think a lot of it, what we do and how we are able to really, with a passion, I think keyword is passion, man. We want to do this, right? And we want to invest in this industry and making sure we're making sure we're doing our due diligence and making sure we really want to become fully compliant. One of the first steps I always advocate is the investment in a charter membership with Vibe. James will speak about it, and I think it's just kind of that, you know what, I want to buy into this. I really need somebody to help me. And this is, I think, the first tip I'm always going to give: investing in a membership with a organization such as Vibe. And that's the first step I can give you. The second one is, hey, guys, I'm telling you this, and I got 30 minutes to tell you this, but man, you really need to go step away from this after this webinar and go ahead and read the FDA guidance document on establishment registration and product listings for yourself. This helps you become more understanding of what the requirements are for compliance, but it also helps you as a business. What do I need to do? Much like you got to pay your taxes, right? I got to pay my taxes. Okay, I got to read the IRS. So go to the FDA website, go to the tab that says Center for Tobacco Products. Down below, it says Helpful Hints, and it has video tutorials for establishment registration. You can also type it in to the search box there, and it'll come up. It's also helpful for you. Excuse me? Okay, let me press on. I just only got the one slide left. Transfer your inventory. So this big thing for a product listing is that you have an inventory control somehow right now, folks. I mean, I worked with another client who had to get a college student to come in. He didn't have any part numbers. He didn't have anything listed in any spreadsheet matrix. He didn't have all that organized, and it took him a good while to put all that together. He's now ready to upload that for my review, and I'm going to look at it and help him coalesce that back together and see how we can help him also parse out those line items that really need more information, right? And they're all part of this spreadsheet that James spoke about. So it's pre-populated fields on that spreadsheet, and it's really easy, but you need to have some base information first, such as your inventory control and part numbers in order to port that over or transfer it over to product listings. Really quick, online, right? They got the FDA website. You can file online, or the option is to mail it. Again, authorize a third party to register. And this last point, I have it bold, underlined. I don't think we can ignore this, folks. Failure to register is prohibited. Say that again. Failure to register is prohibited. So if you don't want FDA knocking on your door and being kind of paranoid about who's coming into your store, right? Man, if you do due diligence, man, you have nothing to worry about. You really don't, man. Registering is an easy first step. Who, what, where you're at, and what products you got, man, you're good to go. I don't think it's an arduous step. I think it's a first easy baby step in order to become compliant. There'll be some other deliverables down the road here, you guys know, that are going to be a bit more onerous, a bit more arduous, things they have to put together for a PMTA in particular. But for right now, let's get this establishment registration and this product listing in. Great. That's it for my slide set. Monica, from your expertise perspective.
Yes. I'm sorry. I lost video on the slides, so I was trying to take notes as we went through it. Yes, everything that you said is completely correct. There are so many different areas in this industry, and that's what's so crazy is you're talking about inventory control. Manufacturers of e-liquids have so much more, like process controls and things like that. And there is, like you said, it's not snap your fingers and it magically it is in your grasp. I have companies that I've worked for just to grasp these concepts, and they're actually part of your pre-market. GMP isn't going anywhere. It's a standardized methodology with the FDA. There's just no way to get around that. And there are steps and measures, like taking a third-party consultant like Thomas and myself to come in and kind of help you guide through those issues. Now, who am I passing this off to?
You're doing great, Monica. Everybody can hear me all right?
You sure can, James. Go ahead.
Okay, great. Well, yeah, we're going to do a Q&A session here in just a moment, but I want to go ahead and get to the offer that we have for the folks that have stayed with us. So the first thing has to do with the third-party authorization. If you'll just put something in the Q&A, in the chat section, letting us know that you're interested in the third-party authorization, we'll be sure and email that to you. If you're interested in the FDA spreadsheet for product listing, to be able to upload your product listing, let us know also in the chat, and we'll do that for you. As far as becoming a Vibe certified partner, if you're a manufacturer or a brand owner, that's where Vibe certified partner comes in. That's separate from being a retailer, a Vibe retailer partner. So we're focusing mostly on manufacturers and brand owners in this particular session. So what's the advantage to doing that? Well, first of all, when you meet Vibe certified standards, you're going to be able to set up on your labeling and on all of your materials that you're Vibe certified, which is something that we'll be making great progress on developing the credibility of that. And then it's going to help you stand out in a crowded, saturated market. If you want to market your products to a large, broad audience across the country, you're dealing with a lot of saturated competition. So this is a way for you to kind of be boosted up above the rest of the competition. Promote to a captive audience. That's referring to the fact that Vibe has retailer members. A monthly membership normally would be $899 per month, but for the first 100 members, we're offering a charter membership for life. And now what that charter membership for life amount is it's going to be much less than that, and we're going to talk about that. But first, let's talk about the special offer for anybody that decides to join tonight. If you join Vibe tonight, and you can do that on the website at vibeforvape.com. We'll talk about that again. But if you choose to join Vibe tonight, we've got a package of products, professional products that we are going to be able to offer to you that's going to make it well worth the small investment that you've got. So let's look at what those things are. The offer ends Friday on 8/4 at midnight. That's tomorrow night. 1 hour marketing consultation with SearchBloom, a $400 value. We're going to do a deep dive, personal one-on-one consultation with the Vice President of SearchBloom, Jordan Connor, and they'll provide that to you at no charge. 1 hour business strategy session with Norm Bauer. You get to spend 1 hour on the telephone with him, discussing and getting his input on any topic that you like. The Keller and Heckman Legal Symposium that was put on in February had 12 hours of incredible material, a $200 value with 20% off of the Keller and Heckman Legal Symposium. If you choose to become a Vibe member, of course, one of the things that you'll want to do is to get Vibe certification. The application fee for Vibe certification is $100. That will be waived, so that would be free. Then also, you're automatically going to be allowed to get a 1 hour compliance consultation session with Monica and 2 30-minute compliance consultations with Tom. Those are available to you whether you become a Vibe member or not, just by being part of this. So we've stacked up $1,250 worth of value here, and your charter membership is only $299 per month. That's $299 per month for you to be a member of Vibe. And we're going to talk a little bit about what that means. If you're interested in learning more about the benefits of being a member of Vibe, check out vibeforvape.com. That's Vibe, the number 4, and the word vape.com. Or if you would like, you can also just post something in the chat saying you'd like more information, and we'll get back with you. Our next session is going to be deeming regs 1 year later, because this is going to be on Tuesday, 8/8/17, 1 year after the deeming regs became final. What the smart companies are doing now in light of the recent change in the FDA weather. And depending on where you are, there's the times for that. Now we're finally at the Q&A. And let me mention also, just before we get to that, that you can also reach me directly with my cell phone number, 405-249-7600, or send me an email at james@vibeforvape.com. And there's the website where you can go and get more information. So now on to the Q&A. We had quite a few, and I think I'm going to get some assistance with directing those questions. Monica and Tom, do you have, can you scroll down to the bottom of the chat and work your way up on that and kind of decide what's going to work best on who takes what question? I think they have their microphones muted right now, so they're probably scrambling to get to their microphone.
All right. I think the first one here is Cheryl. I know you were concentrated on e-liquids, but can you speak on hardware and drip tip manufacturers as well? For example, how to list ingredients and labeling. I know that we didn't go over the ingredients, but I think Tom could actually give you a better understanding. Is he still here?
He should be. Tom,
Where did he go?
Tom, can you unmute? Perhaps he stepped away from his microphone for a minute.
Okay. Well, honestly, for labeling, this is what I know. If we're doing the registration and the product listing, you're looking at packaging. So your labeling is your packaging. So they want to know if, like, let's say you are doing label importation. It's not just your label, it's your box. So it's whatever has the information on it, like your product name and information like that. So you will need to do your packaging would be your labeling. And then as for ingredients, there is a way to import that via the e-submitter. It's not impossible, but I think Tom could give you the better step-by-step. That's why it's always good to hire someone to come in to kind of give you the rundown of how those go through. But they will still need registered, even the ingredients, for a hardware or drip tip manufacturer. So I don't know if Tom is back. All right. Well, I guess I'll just keep going.
Okay.
All right.
Now, Tom, have you made it back yet, Tom? I guess not. Okay. Please go ahead, Monica. I appreciate it.
No problem. All right. So Benton, you had asked earlier about if you're importing your e-liquids. Okay. So if you're importing it pre-bottled, you are not the manufacturer. However, if you are slapping a label on it, you are now the manufacturer. If it's coming as a finished product, then no. But if it is a finished product, if it is not a finished product, then yes, you are a manufacturer. Any changes that you make to the product, once it gets into your facility, deems you a manufacturer. Okay, so Benton, if you have any extra questions on that, I can go back. I'm just going up the list. Are we only still talking about domestic manufacturers? Can you please make sure and specify when what you are discussing affects importers? Okay, so for registration and product listing, what we are currently going over right now only affects domestic manufacturers, not importers. I've actually gone on the FDA website myself and seen people register companies that I know are manufactured in China. This is not for foreign manufacturers. This is only for domestic establishments. The reason is, like Tom had discussed, there needs to be inventory control and quality control. When it comes to importers, you are responsible for health submission and ingredient listing. It can be done by the foreign manufacturer, but they do want a U.S. agent. FDA always prefers someone in the U.S. to kind of take the horns on responsibility if you're manufacturing overseas. So let's see, Sean. If there's no product changes, we renew once a year. But if there are changes, then we renew twice a year. It depends. You know, in over-the-counter drugs, it was always every 6 months. I think that's pretty much how they've stipulated the guidelines right now. So if there are no product changes every year, but they'll send you a notification. FDA is pretty good about saying, "Hey, it's time to register." So they don't leave you hanging. They'll definitely saying, "If you haven't done it yet, it's time for you to re-register." So don't feel like you're gonna miss the deadline, because they just put you into the system. So I hope that helps. And Lisa, do I register if I'm a retailer only? No. You do not register if you are a retailer. I have also seen this happen in registration. There's nothing for them to audit, honestly. Product registration is only for them to come in and check facilities. If you're a retailer, they're already checking you, and they're checking you for a whole other reason. They want to look for underage sales. So Monica, no, if you are yes.
Let me just interject one thing there. Let's be very clear about this. And that is that if you're a retailer, but you're making any e-liquid in the shop, then of course, then at that point you are going to need to register.
Correct. Correct. If you are only selling product and at no point in time do you change the look of a product, then no, you do not need to register. But yes, if you are at any point in time changing the look of the product, then you are a manufacturer. So yes, thank you for the clarification. Yeah, so you don't. And then Tom is not here to ask the question on inventory control. It would just depend on your business, Jesse, because there are different systems for different strokes for different folks, right? So whatever fits their company better would be the inventory control. If you are directly manufacturing or contract manufacturing, there's a few really good ones out there. I think the Instant GMP also does inventory control, right, Norm?
It does.
So I know that they take them highly recommended from Norm. And we already went to Lisa. We did that one. Let me scroll.
While you're looking, Monica, I'll just go ahead and throw in a plug for Instant GMP. This is James. But if you are wanting to just get basic compliance down and be able to document your batches and to do the basic things of GMP, the Instant GMP software is a fantastic option for you. It's a great place to start. There's obviously more things that could be done, and third-party consultants could be very helpful to you with those things. But Instant GMP is a tremendous way for you to get a jump start on that process.
All right, looks like Sean, another company manufactures our product. We are listing in their product registration. We are listed in their product registration. The FDA does not want duplicate submissions, but what happens if they decide they no longer want to manufacture our product or decide to no longer do business? Are we locked with them and can we register again? Heck, yes. 100% yes. You are not locked into those manufacturers. Duplicate submissions is not a bad thing. If you are manufacturing with two separate contract manufacturers, they should be reporting your product. And the reason is because if there's anything wrong, they should be able to go to either one of those manufacturers. You should not at any point feel obligated, unless you're contracted, of course, but obligated to stay with them, especially after the September deadline. You have every right to go to any manufacturer that fits your needs. So that's something that needs to be done on their end. You know, as a brand owner, which you'd be considered a brand owner, you really have to start kind of looking at your manufacturers and making sure that that they're on the same page with you in those regards. So no, it wouldn't even be considered a duplicate submission in my eyes, because if there was ever a problem or something had happened where someone got injured, you know, they would want to know where the source came from, and they can do that from the product listing.
Monica, let me add one other thing to that, and that is that we have strategic partnerships with a number of third-party manufacturers who have the ability, if for some reason your manufacturer prevents you from having access to the formula, there are manufacturers who can clone that pretty easily, right down to the last molecule. So you don't have to feel like you have no choice.
Yeah. Let me see. Yes, you can, yeah, like you said, register at another time. You can 100%. FDA applies. Okay. How does the FDA deadlines apply to foreign manufacturers? Okay. So it would apply to foreign manufacturers in terms of health submission and ingredient listings, but not domestic establishments. They're not looking for your facility because you're not manufacturing anything. So there's no manufacturing going on in a warehouse. But the deadlines do apply for health submission and ingredient listings on your foreign manufacturer. Now, I'm not necessarily sure what your specific situation is, Benton, but like James had stated, one of the benefits of coming to this event is that you could give me a ring and we could go over what specifically you're looking for in terms of what you deal with in your business. If you were the direct distributor, then you would have to work that out with your foreign manufacturer.
Monica, let me also jump in. I've just finally been informed that the reason that we're not hearing from Tom is there's a technical difficulty. He's having trouble getting the microphone to toggle on. So he's with us. He just can't say anything on his mic.
Okay. Well, you know what? And like Tom said, he is actually he's been in medical device manufacturing, so he has a lot of knowledge on the hardware portion. So definitely reach out to him if your main focus is in the hardwares. Okay, April, I have over 150 flavors. I need to register all of these. Or can I get rid of some of these by September if I don't want to register them? Or can I hang on to them you got to register all of them. All of them, April. Come on. You could do 150 flavors by September 30th, right?
If she's not doing anything else.
Right? Come on. This is your life now. It's regulations or die. That's our motto here. Manufacturing them, every right not to register them by September. If you don't register them by September, you're not going to have any, unless to do all. Later. No, you got to register all of them. If you are selling them, you must register all. It's a lot of work. Let's see. I think that's it. Did I answer everyone's question, or do we have any more questions?
Monica, it looks like that's about all of them, and we have now gone over the 8 o'clock time, so I think we'll go ahead and cut this short. We are going to be providing additional support, and we're also going to be providing access. If you'll just let us know, any of you that want to do the 1 hour follow-up with Monica and Tom, feel free to get in touch with us, let us know, and we'll get you in touch with them to make sure that you get the opportunity to do that, so you can have your questions directly answered. So that's it for us for tonight, everybody. We thank you for your attendance, and we hope that you found this helpful. Tom and Monica, you've been fantastic. We appreciate everything you've done for us, and we're looking forward to everybody participating. Jeff, I think we've had a question just come up here. Jeff, to be clear, product includes each NIC level as well as PG-VG ratio per flavor. Monica, are you still with us? Unmute your mic. Well, it looks like we've lost Monica also. But to get to that question, the product includes each NIC level as well as that's one. Right. So there's a flavor with different NIC levels. I guess I need to be careful about answering this question. So I think what we'll do is to make absolutely sure, to clarify this properly, that we need to make sure that Monica or Tom answer that in your follow-up phone call. So we will include that information. We will send that out to each of the participants and let you know how to take advantage of that 1 hour one-on-one consultation. Thanks, everyone, for your involvement tonight, and we hope you enjoyed it. And we will be back on Thursday night with the 1-year anniversary, covering what the smart companies are doing right now under the new change of weather with the FDA. Thanks, everyone. For those of you who are still on, feel free to indicate in the chat if there's anything that you need, like the spreadsheet. We'll make sure that we get that to you.